Awesome. Awesome. Is there anything that the community can do to help, IOG's mission in Africa?
Yeah, so you can apply to be an ambassador. We're going to be relaunching or refocused on the ambassador program for Africa. We don't have enough ambassadors. Very soon, we're going to have these community events, long promised community events, running in all of these different African countries. We're looking to put together a bespoke funding vehicle outside of Catalyst to support early stage startups. Hopefully, you'll hear more about that in the Cardano conference. Now you've got the Catalyst proposals. So what we're going to need is to start pulling together these people into an ecosystem and making sure that everyone's supporting each other. I'm going to try to put the sort of guardrails around that and sort of explain on paper how you can participate in all of this. But yeah, I'm really sort of looking for this to go exponential, and yeah, it takes a village, as they say.
Yeah, and that's why I was asking. So that would be separate from the Cardano Ambassador Program. This is really like a Cardano Africa Ambassador Program.
I won't say that because then I'll upset the CF. So no, of course we want to work with within the current program. So I'm going to be trying to sort of help the CF reach out to and find these ambassadors. But in the short term, I'm going to be focused on spaces where people who want to help can immediately talk. But of course, we want to align 100% with CF. They have an increasingly important role in the ecosystem going forward.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for that. A few days ago on Twitter, you were talking about a project called Empowa. You said that you're very interested in it. Can you tell us a little more?
Yeah, I just love these kind of things, right? It's why I got so excited by World Mobile. So Empowa is all about building sustainable housing in Africa, right? Using cryptocurrencies and or at least enabling crypto to help finance that. And also slightly gamify it so people sort of get NFTs for the social good that they've created. So this is part of my broader RealFi strategy. What's RealFi? RealFi is all about reducing the frictions that prevent cryptocurrency and blockchain liquidity from actually having real world impact. So DeFi is borrow crypto to buy more crypto to make more money so you earn more crypto. RealFi is use your crypto to be able to finance an actual loan for someone to be able to go and build a house or increase the size of their farm, and an actual yield on that because you've created more real world value that gets repaid to you. So there's many different parts of RealFi. As I say, it's more of a toolbox than a single product. But if your cryptocurrency or blockchain project has got some form of real world impact, you're probably within the RealFi space. And DeFi is a subset of RealFi. We use DeFi Lego blocks to help make these things happen. And Empowa is just a great example of, as I say, a RealFi project. So yeah, I'm excited. It's a great team as well. I actually helped them close their seed round. So I'm super excited for them to get started.
Yeah, me as well. I've had them on the podcast. I really do like their project, but I want to talk a little bit more about this, this idea of RealFi. I started hearing this a lot more, or the first time I heard it was after, the U.S. government passed the bill through the Senate and then onto the House. I heard Charles mention this idea of RealFi. So do you think macroeconomically the space is shifting, towards working with governments and this idea of real finance instead of, as you said, just buying more crypto and inflating the prices of these assets? Is cryptocurrency shifting towards a focus on government adoption and real world use for this value instead of what it has been in the past?
Yeah, so if you just think about the scale of the opportunity, of course, if we start to be able to think about, real world markets, like, as I say, remittance or housing or normal lending markets, these are orders of magnitude greater than the traditional DeFi space, which we've sort of limited ourselves to. So do I believe we'll end up in RealFi? Of course, this is where the markets are. So in my view, crypto will sort of start to eat into these real world value chains, and then everything will become RealFi. So at the moment, we're dealing with DeFi. It's a subset of this RealFi space, and as we succeed, we should be moving more into these traditional markets. So yeah, I think that that's the direction that we're going. I think we have to be careful to make sure it's clear that this doesn't mean there's more government control or that, we've given up the power. No, it's a natural function of the technology being successful and being able to be used in more applications.
Yeah, it's very important, for the technology to work with governments, or you're just not going to get the users and the nation adoption. Do you feel that Cardano stands in a good place, as we trend towards this, to actually adopt identity, and, is Cardano in a good place to do that in a short amount of time?
Well, I hope so, since I coined the word. So if if we can't do it, then I really don't know. I don't know what we're doing. So 100%. I think that we've always had a focus more on where we're going with this technology. What's the end of the path that we're choosing to tread. So I do think we think about it. It's the reason why we built Itala Prism. It's the reason why we're starting to do SME lending in Kenya to better understand what the bottlenecks are. It's the reason why I'm here in Africa. So 100%, we have a focus on this. Ultimately, it's a philosophy choice. We believe philosophically that this is where the market will go. Other blockchains may have different views, and only time will tell really who's in the right.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that response. I want to close this out in, a lighthearted way. John, what you and IOG are doing is inspiring to all of us, and it's really inspired me to do what I do every day. And my question for you is, what or who inspired you to do what you do every day?
How do I answer this without saying that I think Charles had a hand in it? From the way I sort of got involved in this project, there were a number of different influences on me. I studied politics, philosophy, and economics. The economic side, I was always interested in how emerging economies grow. So all of the literature that I read around that definitely framed the way in which I started to see the world. So I'd sort of give a lot of shout outs to a lot of the economists that I sort of followed and respected. That being said, there was a eureka moment for me, and it was when I watched Charles's TEDx talk at Bermuda. And that for me was just absolutely click, that for a lot of these sort of intractable economic growth problems that everyone talks about, that potentially technology could actually get us some of the way there. So that's sort of why I got involved in the project and got started. Maybe in terms of other inspirations, when you work and live in a place like Addis or Ethiopia, there's so many people who are really trying to make a difference. And sometimes it's naive, sometimes it's misplaced. But there's a lot of people who really care. So yeah, honestly, on a daily basis, I meet people who are no one's forcing you to do this. And frankly, that sort of helps you get up out of bed every day and work your utmost.
Yeah, it's interesting to hear your perspective on that, and hearing that, when you wake up, there are a lot of people trying to make a difference. Where I was from in the United States, there weren't very many people trying to make a difference at all. That is often in the United States thought of as naive. And, to me, IOG and the work that you've been doing is the first time that I've seen people actually trying to make a difference, and that's what inspired me. I really appreciate you coming on today, John. Is there anything that you would like to say, before we hop off here? Anything that we missed?
Just to say that the Cardano Summit's coming up, I think September the 25th. So I'll be doing more information, more updates on what we do, what we're doing in Africa, where we're going, and also hopefully some real tangible stuff about how you can get involved, where to sign up, etc.
Awesome. Are you going to be there in Wyoming?
No, I'm gonna stick to the Africa side. So the Cape Town event is where we're doing the sort of Africa HQ. So I'll be there.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear it. And if you guys enjoyed this podcast, make sure you let us know down below. Click that like button, click the notification bell. If you made it to the end, please type John O'Connor down below to show us that you did make it to the end. I appreciate you guys tuning in to each and every podcast, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.